Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and the rainbow chart. Let's start off with crypto fear and greed. And as you can see, we're still in the neutral territory, coming up from fear and extreme fear. If we take a look at fear and greed within the last year, you can see we've been in this downtrend and are possibly getting ready to do an uptrend. So no lower low yet, no higher low to indicate which direction we are either still going or changing. And I don't know if I mentioned this, it's been a little bit since I made a video, but we are looking at the rainbow chart today. So we'll get more into the indicators and the current price action and where I think we are in this current cycle, as you can see between the halvings, where Bitcoin may be looking for a top. And as far as dominance, something that you should pay attention to with Bitcoin dominance, I'll look at the chart with you guys, and this shows what percent of all crypto is in Bitcoin. And when that percent goes down, that tends to be near the end of the bull run and when alt season happens and when altcoins and Bitcoin miners go up. So as of right now, Bitcoin dominance still overall in an uptrend. And as far as the alt season index, you can see here still overall in an uptrend as well. So we'll see if we can make a higher high here on the alt season index. So right now, let's zoom in on the rainbow chart. And if it wants to respond to us, there we go. And as you guys can see, recently, the price of Bitcoin, it dipped down into this teal zone right here. So overall, we have been making lower lows, lower highs. I'll show you some prices that I'm looking for when this is to be invalidated. But something I want you guys to notice right here is, in my opinion, Bitcoin, you see the shape right here from the two peaks, from the all-time high peak in 2021 to the most recent one in March. We have what's called the cup and handle formation. So seen this on many other charts before price can really rip off. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have another dip to come soon. And so if this does make another lower low, that's fine. But right now, this is still in a cup and handle formation with the bull flag here. Now, as far as prices, we can look at later this year and see the different zones and the prices that you might be looking for in bearish and bullish scenarios within these zones. So if we are to only get as low as the teal zone there, you can see that the lower end of that is 50K. Now, if we were to dip a lot sooner, let's say by mid to end October, okay, I'll just go mid-October right there. I want you to notice the lower number of that teal zone, that 47K number on the left side. Make sure you keep that in your head. 47K. Again, this is what I'm looking at in a bearish scenario. As far as bullish, if we're going out to the end of this year, I think that yellow zone that it topped in before would be a fair place to look. The 82 to 100K mark. And I'll show you why that lines up as well. So let's take a look at the chart. And if you are noticing my voice being different, it is why I didn't make any videos earlier this week. Did have COVID, so finally recovering. You'll hear me hydrate right into the microphone. So I apologize for those sounds. Anyways, let's just zoom in way in because Bitcoin recently today is just looking bullish. And there's been some bullish news. China shooting a nuke basically at their economy with quantitative easing. China going through a 2008 great financial crisis type scenario. And if the quantitative easing they're putting into the markets would affect us today, or at least sentiment in the near term. And as far as right now, Bitcoin today is looking bullish. You can see right here that it's gone up 1,600. So pretty good. But something I'm keeping an eye on, at least with the daily, is that this is Bitcoins. You can count them out. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we have these dojis. Doji candle means undecided. So things can go up or down. There's a lot of important Fed data coming out today, and I'm sure any of the narratives will price in whatever people want or are looking for. But if the price is to go down, then on the daily, we have a lot of support here between 61 and 59. I guess you could round up and say 60 because this will eventually come up. So let's say 60 to 61. If that wasn't to hold, then we would again be looking at bearish price scenarios, getting under that 60 number, going to 55, 53. But if we are to make, or if we are to stop this trend of these lower highs, you can see right here, this lower high was around 65K. I'm sure if we zoom in, give or take 500 or so. But if we were to take out this lower high, Bitcoin would get above that. And that would be looking bullish for Bitcoin to get above this as far as the structure. So important levels today. If it does get above that, we still have the 2021 all-time high area, upper end of this channel, around 69K to contend with. And of course, if it got above that, that would be majorly bullish. But typically, when I've seen 10 green days in a row, typically I do see a correction outside of course, the most bullish scenario. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a correction, a little bit of one, and we'll see if that would be a 5-wave movement. Again, that would be very bullish. But if it was to roll over here, that'd be bearish. And remember what I told you guys about that 47K number. If we were to get bearish, I am still watching this 100-week moving average, this light blue line down here. You can see it's right at around 47K. And as well, we have some price action back here where the peaks here were around 49K. So in a very bearish situation, I could see that being the low. We go back to 2019 when we last had our mid-cycle top. And you can see Bitcoin got down to that 100-week moving average after this orange line. That was the first Fed rate cuts. We just had our first Fed rate cuts. So not that the same things have to happen. We have gotten down to the 50. And you guys can see before the next all-time high was made, anything around the 50-week moving average or even below it was like the best time to buy after that mid-cycle top. So if we do have something similar here, anything around this orange line, the 50-week moving average or below, would be, in my opinion, pretty good value time to buy with Bitcoin or altcoins. Of course, you have to research your own altcoins. There's many out there, or mining stocks, but that might be the best value area. So again, if we get above 65K, that's going to be bullish. Even if it gets rejected here by 69K, we could see maybe 3 waves down back to somewhere in the low 60s before blasting upwards. But if it did go down, then I could see it correcting down somewhere between the 55 to 47K area. Bitcoin dominance, let's take a look at that. So Bitcoin dominance, let's go over to the daily. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance on the daily, you guys can see there's a lot of confluence here, a lot of things lining up on whether or not the market's going to reverse trend. And one of the ways we can see this is Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance, a little bit of a sell-off, as you can say. So again, 57.6% of all money in crypto is in Bitcoin. But you can see here it might be forming a bottom and getting ready to go back up. And typically when that happens, so not always the best for Bitcoin price, but the other chart I've been looking at is Tether dominance. So Tether dominance possibly making a bottom here, and Tether is a stable coin. It always has a value of 1. So when the markets are volatile, Tether dominance goes up. And when the crypto markets are pumping, Tether dominance numbers go down. So should we start to pump, you'll see Tether get even lower under this structure. Again, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, all as those supports right there to possibly go down should Bitcoin get bearish. And zooming out, something else I'm looking for, Bitcoin dominance is possibly getting up as high as 62%. And after that, I think at any point it can be go time, and looking for something down here in the low 40% when Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion, gets under 47% and gets down here, this is like the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter of a football game. You better be ready to possibly take some profits. Not financial advice, but if you get in the right altcoins, the right miners, this would be the line for me, the 2-minute warning line to look for. So going back over to Bitcoin, do you guys remember the other number I shared with you about the rainbow chart? That was the yellow zone. That's around 100K if we get back to the yellow zone by the end of this year in a bullish type scenario. Well, one thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of these Fibonacci price extensions. And the 1618 Fibonacci price extension, when you take a look at higher prices, you have to take it off log scale, is at around that number, 100K. Well, what else is there? We line up the two peaks of Bitcoin, it leads right up there around 100K. What else is there? Well, if we take, let's put this back on auto. If we take this trend line that Bitcoin's been in love with since the start of this bull run, that also leads us up to 100K. And that all lines up, oddly enough, with how many days we average from new all-time highs to the eventual peak. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the top of Bitcoin. Maybe we'll get a double top scenario as, let's zoom out here. Maybe, or actually, let's reset it. Maybe we'll get a double top scenario again, like we did in 21. We'll see. Or maybe we'll get one of these guys where we have an early top and then an even bigger one coming. Would we consider this an early top? I'm still not sold on that. I still am seeing this more and more each month as time goes on as a mid-cycle top. But this was a new all-time high. We can't ignore that. And maybe this felt like that mid-cycle top as well, though it did happen this time. Well, every time the tops happen after the halving. This one happened before. So I'd say I'm leaning more towards that being a mid-cycle top. So anyways, let's go back to Bitcoin. You can see a lot of convergence there. I think end of this year, what that means is that'll be go time for crypto. And who knows how long the bull run will last. Can it be an early bull run that ends by Q1 of next year? Maybe. Or could it last out a little longer? If we average the amount of days from halving to the next peak, that put us late summer. Now, the one thing I'd say against this argument, this you can see the date down there, August, is we know seasonality, August, September tend to suck. But again, things can always be different for the end of the bull run. And we have had those 4-year cycles where the tops have come in Q4 2013, Q4 2017, Q4 2021. Though I will say, here in April, this was the alt season. This is when Bitcoin dominance tanked in April. So I'm really going to be watching for an April top as a very decent possibility, is something you guys should look for. So do look for the April top as a possibility. Again, I don't know if it's going to double top or what. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys a couple different indicators, things I look for as far as Bitcoin and the price action and where we are at. So right now you can see I have my leading indicator of buy sell signals. That's the green and red dots. No red dots yet on the daily. You can see we don't even have a sell signal on the daily. And you can see right there, Bitcoin got above this level. So this is no longer a low structure. It has gotten above 65K. That's looking to be bullish. And anytime we kind of grind up here, it typically means there might be one more move left. So again, see what happens here at 69K. But right now that's looking bullish for Bitcoin in the short term. But I wanted to take a look at a couple other indicators. The RSIs. So when we take a look at the relative strength index, you see the RSI is still coming up. Now, something to be careful with the RSI. I hear a lot of narratives where, well, RSI peaks, so it means it's done running. Guys, do know that all because it peaks doesn't mean it has to stop. It can stay peaked in very bullish scenarios. As well as on here, you can see the RSI still in a downtrend, but I would look for a pullback and to see if it was making a higher low on the weekly RSI. That's what I'd be looking for if we were to indeed have made a bottom and we're starting to look to trend upwards. Okay. The other thing I could say, argument for that, is you can see here we were having lower lows, but then we had a higher low, and now we have a higher high. So Bitcoin was going down in the structure, but now it's going up. And again, the 69K is going to be the next important level. Usually these RSIs have a little bit of a pullback on the weekly. So if it makes a higher low on the weekly RSI, I'd say that'd be looking bullish by that indicator. One of the ways I dollar cost average, I take a look at the stochastic RSI, and every time on the weekly, when the blue flips above the orange, that tends to be pretty good. Now you can see here, this is a lot of room to run on the weekly, okay? If it is to be like one of these moves in February, obviously towards March or last September, you'd see here, even one of these minor decent moves still went up. Let's measure this out. Still went up about 30%. Okay, so even in one of the smaller scenarios, if Bitcoin was to go up about 30%, we'll do it from where that dip is, which is right here. 30% would be, well, yeah, give or take, right about where the upper end of that channel is. So that would be in, again, not one of the oversized moves. Excuse me. Let me hydrate. But even in one of these smaller moves, something around 30%, you can see would take us right to that 69 level. Doesn't mean it has to be done running. You can see as it gets up, you can stay flat up here and even run further. So you don't want to get married to the RSI. I use the regular RSI to just see if there's big divergence and if I should be possibly ready to take some profits. And I use the stock RSI kind of as a dollar cost average indicator. And when it flips positive, that can be a good early time to get in, outside of the buy sell signals, of course. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think below. Sorry I didn't put out any videos earlier, but trust me, I wasn't able to. And I hope, even with my sick voice, maybe this makes the videos sound even better. And so, thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll ask you these two questions. When do you think the next cycle top is going to be? I'm kind of leaning towards that April number, but when do you think? And how high do you think it's going to be? I'm leaning towards 150K. So, thank you for watching. Have a great day.